Hi, this is Carissa Newton, and I am just doing the final reflection for PC742 for the DMP clinical in response to Dr. O's questions. So, the first question on the messy parts of the QI process, um, probably the biggest thing that was difficult for me at first was to get used to speaking with the clinical staff and the faculty and asking for help. Previously in my courses, I never really had to ask for help or reach out very much. So that was really different for me. Um, and I probably waited a little bit too long to do that at first. And then, of course, once I started working with them, they were great and super helpful. This was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, of course, and just a completely different way of thinking. And so it took me a really long time to get into the hang of it. And it was really hard to trust the process and know that it would work out. But here we are, and it worked out. And it's just really interesting to talk about it now to other people and think about how I really didn't think it would work out, but it did. So one of the biggest parts was that, and then of course trying to get organized. It took me a really long time to get organized. They talked about it a lot, and it being important to be organized and staying organized. Um, so that was a big thing in the very beginning with planning and trying to keep all of my paperwork together and everything. I had to go through a few different methods to do that, and before I found something that worked. Um, and then just using, as far as like getting into the actual project and implementation, um, the biggest part was trying to make sure keeping my team focused during when the office was really busy. We had a lot of staff changes during implementation, um, which was hard for us, and making sure that everyone was using the interventions and documenting it. And that was one of the things that was the biggest part during my project, was trying to get people to continue to do that even during busy times. Another part that was kind of messy was when beginning to evaluate the data. So I figured out how to collect the data and put it on the run chart, but really just trying to figure out how to look at it over time and see how things changed and then what I needed to do with that. And then the last part that I just did that was kind of difficult was just beginning to write the final paper. So I did feel like it was really nice. We already had pieces of the paper and we could fill in, but going from actually doing the project to trying to put it in writing and making it sound like it flows, and trying to make sure that somebody who may not know the project can follow it. That was kind of difficult for me until I got started and I got, into it. And then once I got going, it was a little bit better. One of the things that was really, really super helpful for me and I really liked was the peer review. My person that peer reviewed my paper was really awesome, and she had a lot of good feedback. And I felt really good about knowing that I could make those changes, and they were really important before the faculty would read my paper. So I really thought that that was a good part of the course. Um, and then another question on how I have developed as a person and professionally. Probably the biggest growth personally was probably the final presentation for me. So I've never really felt confident or ever really liked doing presentations or being on video or speaking in public, although it has gotten a little bit better over my course at Frontier. But this was really the first presentation that I was nervous, but I was actually really looking forward to, because I felt really confident and I was excited to share all the results of my project with my team and with the school. So that was actually a really big deal for me, and it was super surprising to me to know that, or to feel that, because I have never felt that before. I've just always been really sick before, and then just really wanted to get it over with, and then felt super relieved. So I feel like that really helped me as far as growing personally with that. And then professionally, I'd say the biggest thing is just kind of a passion and understanding of QI and improvement, really how to evaluate changes and just the excitement of our team and everything on, they've already been talking about future projects that we could do and improve things. And I know now how to do those small changes and really evaluate it and make sure that they're working. And so I am really excited about that. And just, again, talking about it to other people and explaining it, and them understanding it. It's been really exciting. And then really how, like, truly to incorporate patient-centered care into care and to my practice. I've heard of patient-centered care before, and I know that it's important. But to truly do it and see the effects of it and how patients responded to it and truly how it improved outcomes was really a big thing for me as well. And then as far as relationships that have changed throughout this whole process, the biggest one, of course, was my office team. Um, we're a small team. We were close before, but we've never had to work together like this. We're just kind of fairly new, and we've never had a project like this. So this was, I feel like this was really super important, and I feel like was super great for our team to come together for this. It was, you know, they didn't really have anything to lose, only to gain. And then, they were really, really proud of our results. And, that really motivated them to do things that they may not have agreed to do or, been on board to do before. And just to be confident about we can change things, even with small things that we did. It was really neat to see that with my team. So I feel like that has been really beneficial. And then another big relationship growth and importance, I guess, during this time was just like the other student colleagues during this whole DMP um, clinical part. I always have felt like Frontier has been really great at, even though it's online, like having that social connection and having meetings and teamworks and projects and things like that. But during the implementation and just having those frequent meetings, we had a lot of the same people at each meeting. I think we did it usually on the weekends. And so we had a big group, and it was really nice to meet with the same people and to see how their projects kind of advanced and just to be super proud of them for, because I was in it and I know how difficult it was to, come up with the new interventions and things like that. That was super important to me. And just to have that support, I honestly can't imagine going through it without that and the support of Dr. Meyer, of course, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without her either. But just to have that connection and those frequent meetings, it was a little weird this term, not to have those frequent meetings. But then we kind of got to attend all of the presentations and I got to see everybody again. So that was really nice too. Those were probably the big things for me. This has been really difficult, but really super exciting for me professionally and personally. And this last term has been great, and of course, all the terms and all of my experience with Frontier has been great. So that's it. Thank you.